Welcome back, everyone. It's here. And today I've got some r/BestOf for you all. As per usual, I'll be reading you the posts, giving you my opinions, and I hope you do the same down in the comments below. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. So funny enough, this was actually originally in the Am I the Devil video from Monday, but this ended up getting cut for time, and it also appeared on BestOf, so look at that. The BestOf post was collected by Fluffy Shiny, and their tagline is, "Even if it's fake, I'm still fully invested." Original OP is throwaway 4727281347 posted to r/TrueOffMyChest, October 14th, 2022. My wife and everyone else thinks I got laid off, but really, I quit so I could make a go at being a Twitch streamer full time. My wife doesn't follow or know anything about Twitch or video games at all. She doesn't have any knowledge of or connection to the industry I used to work in. She's a paramedic, so she works different shifts and does not know I stream at times when she's not home. Her salary is enough to cover our bills, although things will be a bit tighter until I start making money on my stream. I'm not going to tell anyone until I'm bringing in enough money that I can do it full time. I have never been happier and not stressed as I am now. It's easy for me to lock myself in my home office and say I'm networking and job hunting, when I'm really streaming. If my wife and or my 3-year-old is home, if she's not working or my daughter is not at daycare, it's harder, but I make it work. I feel a bit guilty for lying, but I've wanted to do this for a long time. No one that I know in real life knows. Obviously posting this with a throwaway. Relevant comments. Pernicious Knids. You are being a really bad husband. If I was your wife, I would not care if you started making money doing this, because I would be heartbroken that you lied and deceived me. And not over something small, over quitting your job. The entire financial burden is now on her, and she doesn't even know. What if she decided to quit or gets fired? You guys would be up shit's creek without a paddle. Not being dramatic, but I would leave you over this. This is insanity. Liar Dark V comments, "Not only you're not contributing financially, you're also completely ignoring your household and parenting responsibilities, and shamelessly lying to your partner for a foolish dream, which I don't even think you yourself believe it. You just want an excuse to sit on your ass and game all day. Open your eyes, pal. Very few streamers actually make it. You have to be extremely lucky, plus make extraordinary/unique content to even start earning something. And it will not be enough to support your family and even yourself for a very long time, if ever. Stop lying to your wife, stop lying to yourself before it's too late. Get a grip, find a job, start being a fucking father to your daughter." I swear this guy probably came here just to have people enable his shitty behavior. Puzzle-headed ad 6997. There it is. The dumbest thing I've read all day. Sad Spit 8898 comments. She's gonna find out and leave you. Update 3 years later. Posted November 1st, 2025. Update, my wife and everyone else thinks I got laid off, but really I quit so I could make a go at being a Twitch streamer full time. An update, and my divorce destroyed me, and she's dating again now. I know I'll probably get flamed, but I get it. I understand that I am the one who ruined my life and my marriage. My divorce was finalized a year ago. She found out about 6 months after I posted. I understand that I was wrong and that I screwed up. I regret my stupidity so much. She left our flat with our daughter and went to live with her sister and hired a solicitor, and that was it. Don't be stupid like me. We've been divorced for a year, and I found out she just started dating again. I'm gutted. I miss her. I miss my daughter because she only lives with me half the time. Whenever I see my wife's sister or other members of her family, they give me the stink eye. I can't believe I was such a lazy fuck while she was out there busting her ass off as a paramedic. I understand why everyone hates me and sided with her. I know I'll get judged either way, but I'm posting in case anyone understands what I'm going through and being gutted when your ex starts dating again. Comments. Wasabinski. I read your original post, and the funny thing is that everyone told you this was going to happen. And it did. George Porgy comments. Honestly, I was with him for a moment there. Thought he had seen the errors of his ways, then he dropped, "In case anyone understands what I'm going through." and realized he is still the victim in his head. Like, look, this guy is very clearly just a certified goober. He put not only himself at risk, he put his daughter at risk, and he put his wife into a strenuous situation where she was the sole provider of a 3-person household because her husband lied to her that he was fired and decided that he actually wanted to quit and pursue streaming full-time. When I started this channel, I was still in uni, and also my internship had hired me on as a full-time junior software engineer. During that time, I started the YouTube channel. I was essentially running 3 jobs at once: uni, my main job, and my YouTube channel. I was burning the candle at both ends, working 20 hours a day. The reason why I bring this up is because when I jumped into the YouTube field, even at 19, I didn't take the gamble of just dropping everything I was doing and hoping that would work out. I worked my ass off. If you're ever in a position where you're wanting to pursue content creation or streaming or something along those lines, don't put all your eggs in one basket and ditch everything that you currently have going for you in hopes that it might work out. Instead, start carving out time for it. It's work. It takes time, it takes effort, and even with that, it's still a dice roll. You could produce some of the highest quality content known to man, and YouTube may never send it to people. It might get recommended to the wrong people, and no one ends up watching it. It might just sit there with 3 or 4 views. You could upload content every single day and maybe have 1 to 17 views and no progress towards actually growing an audience. Content creation is a gamble, so putting all your eggs in one basket and crossing your fingers that it'll work, and putting not just yourself at risk, but also your 3-year-old daughter, and putting all that pressure on your wife, that's fucked up, dude. If you're genuinely looking to get into the online space, whether it's content creation or streaming or something along those lines, you need to make sure you build stability before you fully commit, because it's a gamble. You don't know if it'll work out or not. This post was collected by Shattenspringer, and their tagline is, "Waste of a read, literally no drama." Original OP is Pasta's sister-in-law, posted to r/AmITheAsshole, August 14th, 2021. Am I the asshole for losing my temper at sister-in-law after she ruined the meal I made? My sister-in-law, Ashley, is, for the lack of a nicer word, obnoxious. She constantly does whatever she wants, even when you ask her not to. She thinks she's right, above everyone else, even when she's dead wrong. And she's got this very stereotypical baby sister attitude where she acts like she can do whatever she wants and nobody is allowed to be mad at her because she's baby. Yes, that's something she regularly says. My husband says she's the youngest of their family, so her acting that way is normal. But I pointed out, I'm the youngest of my family, and I've never acted that way. I don't like sister-in-law, but I've been polite and kept a peaceful relationship for my husband's sake. Until today. Today was the first time since 2019 that my husband or I have been able to see our small friend group in person. We all got our shots 2 months ago and decided to meet up, finally, for dinner. I cooked, while our friends either pitched in ingredients, made appetizers, or brought wine. I made pasta ravioli by hand, which was hard. I made enough for me, Hubs, and our friends. But after they arrived and we all cut up while I was finishing the food, sister-in-law showed up. She let herself in and greeted everyone happily. They know her and said hi, but I subtly asked Hubs what she was doing here. Turns out, he'd mentioned the gathering to her, and he guessed she assumed she was invited. I told him to tell her to leave because she can't just invite herself like this. He said that would be humiliating for her and asked if she could stay. I was annoyed, but agreed. Things were fine at the start. I had a few sips of wine to relax and was about to plate everyone's food at the kitchen island and bring it to them, but forgot Parmesan, so went to get it. I heard sister-in-law say she'd help bring the food to the table. I said no thanks, and to stay seated. My back was to her, and she said something I missed because the loud clang of a pot hitting the floor. I heard everyone gasp, and I closed my eyes. I knew what happened, but didn't want to look. When I did, I just started crying. Hours of work splattered on the floor. Sister-in-law said it was okay. It was just some pasta. I'll buy more. I lost it. I called her a stupid bitch that ruined the entire dinner because she refuses to listen. She started boo-hooing, and I told her to shut up and leave. She ran out crying, and I sat down to cry too. Our friends consoled me, and Hubs tried to say I went too far, but our friends told him that he was an asshole and sister-in-law was in the wrong. They helped clean, and we ordered pizza. But after they left, Hubs and I were floored with calls from his family saying I was a horrible, spoiled brat who made their baby cry over some stupid food. Now I'm just crying and feeling like garbage. Did I go too far? I don't usually get so angry or curse. Am I the asshole? Consensus, not the asshole. Comments by OP. She's 31. He's closest in age to her and puts up with her stuff the least, especially after we got together. I think sometimes his family just wears him down. I usually don't flip out like that. I'm very level-headed, but seeing my hours of hard work dumped on the floor just broke me. God, it took so much time. Hand-making ravioli is... ugh. I didn't have the word limit to include it, but this is not the first time she's broken, damaged, etc. something because she refuses to listen to those around her. I don't know why she insists she has to touch everything. Some days, I just want to scold her like my nieces and nephews. Look with your eyes, not your hands. Sigh. I don't understand why she was trying to take the whole pot to the table in the first place. I had plates set out to fill and serve to everyone at the island. All she had to do was stay seated for once. It was my first time making a pescatarian pasta dish because our friend Jenny doesn't eat any land meat. I was so proud how they came out. The first 10 or so were kinda wonky, but I eventually got the hang of it and was so excited to have everyone try them. I was already annoyed that I was going to have to take one ravioli from everyone so sister-in-law could eat too, because while I'd made about 3 extra just in case 1 or 2 fell apart or burned or whatever, it wasn't enough for a 7th person. But then she dropped the entire pot, and I swear, if I hadn't started crying, I'd have killed her. Unless she tuned out everyone around her for the minute she sat at the table, then no, she knew the ravioli were homemade. It got brought up a couple times. Update. Hub said he understands I'm upset the food was wasted, but he doesn't think my outburst was warranted and was actually kind of extreme. Tomorrow is his day off, and I told him he's going to be making the dish like I did, by hand and on his own, and then, at the end, we'll see if he thinks my outburst was unwarranted. Update 2. Well, Hubs made pasta for the first time today, and it went much like I'd anticipated. He was all confidence and it'll be easy during the first 30 minutes. But towards the end of the first hour, that disappeared as the burn in his arms really set in from making enough dough for almost 60 ravioli. I did not lift a finger to help him knead, since I didn't get any help when I did. After the dough was done and wrapped up in the fridge, he made the filling, which took another 40 or so minutes. Then the dough was brought out and he had to start crafting the ravioli, all by hand after rolling the dough out. Lord, that went on for ages, just rolling some dough out, cutting out squares, filling them, and putting the top on. Rinse and repeat until the dough and filling was all gone. All in all, the entire process from start to finish for him, on his own, took a little over 4 hours. And that's with us not actually cooking any of the ravioli. Also, he didn't make any sauce or cook any shrimp for the ravioli to be served with. Also, he didn't prepare any salad to go with it. And when I told him this, that there was still more to do, he almost started crying. He started saying sorry at the 1 hour mark and hasn't stopped apologizing since. We had a long talk about his sister and the dinner she ruined, the other times she's pulled similar incidents, there's a lot, and how him and his family always let her get away with it. He says he knows how they treat her isn't normal and he doesn't like it, but was raised to just go with the flow regarding Ashley. But he said he's going to call her and tell her we need some space from her for now. Update 3. Update? Hubs just got a message from his cousin of Ashley laughing and bragging about intentionally spilling the pasta to teach me a lesson for being such a snobby bitch. A handful of you thought that she did it on purpose, but I didn't actually think she did until hearing her admit to it. I have never seen my husband this pissed off before. I don't know what's going to happen now. Update 4, November 28th, 2021, 3.5 months later. Hi everyone! So much has happened since the pasta fiasco that I'd honestly completely forgotten about this incident until this morning, when I logged on and saw that I had a bunch of requests for an update, so here I am. I was going to post this in an edit on my original post, but it ended up being way too long. Someone said I should post it in the comments, but they're locked, so I decided to just make my own post and put a link to it in the original Am I the Asshole post, since I'm not sure how to do an official update post on the Am I the Asshole sub. Sorry. So, for the update, like I said, a lot happened since then. I'll try to remember all of it, but to be warned, I'm just gonna put down everything as I remember it and try to make it in order, but it's been like 4 months, so I may not do it perfectly. Here it goes. So, sister-in-law bragged to her and her hub's cousin, Brenda, that she ruined the dinner on purpose. Hubs went to confront his family. Sister-in-law denied everything till Hubs played the recording. Hubs banned sister-in-law from our house until she apologized to me sincerely and reimbursed us for all of the wasted food. Sister-in-law went ballistic, sobbing and throwing a massive tantrum until mother-in-law tried calming her down and scolding Hubs for choosing some floozy over your blood family. Hubs apparently flipped and called out his family on their weird babying of sister-in-law, saying they'd made her into a spoiled monster. This just started a huge screaming match between all of them before Hubs said he wasn't speaking to them for the foreseeable future before storming out. That's when he called me and told me to block all of his family, and before I could hang up, I started getting tons of calls and texts from all of them just saying the most hateful stuff to me. All of my socials, from my personal Insta to my work email, were bombarded with hate until I managed to block all of them, but it took weeks for them to all stop. The only people in Hub's family who weren't harassing us were his paternal grandparents, his maternal grandmother, a few of his cousins on both sides, and his paternal aunts and uncles. Actually, I think all of the hate was from his maternal side, though not all of them. After blocking them all, things were peaceful, until a few weeks later, our friend's, Kelly, car was vandalized really bad when she stayed at her house for the weekend. I'm talking the sides were keyed, all the tires were slashed, the windows were spray painted, and they even tore off the tag and shoved it down into the driver's side door where the window slides down. We checked the doorbell cam and it was sister-in-law and brother-in-law. Seems they mistook Kelly's car for mine. I lent my car to my mom since hers needed new tires and I could use Hubs if needed, since both Kelly's and my car are black. Needless to say, we called the cops and Kelly pressed charges on both of them. Thankfully, with the video evidence, she said she was able to make a no-fault claim against Ashley, who had insurance, and Kelly got her repairs paid for, though barely. Sister-in-law and brother-in-law getting arrested caused a huge rift in Hub's family between those who don't think it was necessary that they be arrested, most think they should have just paid for repairs out of pocket, and those who think they got what was coming to them. Also, the arrest cost brother-in-law his job at a university. Hub's cousin Brenda, who is keeping us in the loop, told us that anyways. We didn't look into it. Brenda also informed us that during the whole family drama thing, it was revealed that Ashley is only their half-sister. According to the maternal grandmother anyways. Seems she verbally tore mother-in-law to pieces after mother-in-law insinuated sister-in-law hadn't done anything to deserve this treatment. Brenda said their grandmother said, "You felt bad that your husband didn't love her because he knew she was just your shameful affair baby. So you loved her more than your other kids in some twisted effort to make up for it. And you pulled your other kids into doing it too, and all you did was succeed in spoiling her rotten." Brenda told us more, but that part is what really stuck in my mind. Honestly, hearing all of that was unbelievable for me. I had no idea this level of drama was buried in my husband's family. And again, neither did he. And all of this snowballed from a ruined ravioli dinner. Hubs and I have decided to distance ourselves from that part of his family for now, after handing Kelly a copy of the video of sister-in-law and brother-in-law tearing up her car. We more or less washed our hands of dealing with them all. And I've been way less stressed lately. Hubs too, that we both noticed. So, not a terrible end? Not sure who will see this update, but I'll be logging out of this account after a while since I think everything is mostly over. Thanks for reading, and extra thanks for everyone who sent me so many kind messages after my first post. It made me feel a lot better. So this best of was actually posted in the comments of r/Am I the Devil on the cookie post from Monday, where the husband had ate all of the wife's cookies that were supposed to be for her family and said, "Wow, you're getting so upset over some stupid cookies." Well, this is just the antithesis of this post. Husband initially thought, it's just ravioli, so what? But he put his money where his mouth was and decided to actually take the wife up on the offer of making it himself, and realized very quickly that while ravioli is quite delicious, the process of making it was developed by the devil himself disguised as your local friendly Italian man. And thus, within an hour of having to make ravioli, was left in an apologizing mess but still had to commit to the entire process of it. Big fan of that. But yeah, every part of this post just scratches parts of my brain that were left vacant and yearning after the past 2 days of recording. The only downside is now I want good ravioli, and not just like the shitty Chef Boyardee that comes in a can, which honestly is still pretty good. I mean like actual ravioli. God knows I'm not gonna make it, so time to go harass my local Italian restaurant on DoorDash or something. If only it wasn't fucking 4 a.m. This post was collected by Direct Caterpillar 77, and their tagline is, "Satan is on a pogo stick." I wonder why the caterpillar must be so direct, and why there's 77 of them. Original OP's Zenir On posted to r/Legal Advice August 27th, 2017. I got summoned for injuring my neighbor's kid who hurt herself on my property. USA, California. I was served with a paper to be summoned in small claims court, and I'm being sued by my neighbor for $10,000 in damages. Long story short, my neighbor's kids, around 6 years old, were playing on my front yard without my knowledge or consent, and one of them climbed onto my water fountain. I heard a loud crash, and I found out that my fountain was destroyed and it toppled over on top of the child. I had to call 911 since the kid was bleeding badly. Now here we are, as I just got served with the papers to show up at court. My neighbor is making up excuses saying I failed to secure my fountain, and that it was a tragic accident waiting for it to happen. They're suing me for damages and medical bills for their child. What should I do to prepare myself? Is there any counter-argument to that, especially since it was private property and the kid should have never been climbing on my fountain in the first place? Top/relevant comments. Null password. I think they would have to prove it was an attractive nuisance, than the Google result for attractive nuisance. Which I guess means if your fountain looked like a water slide, you might be in trouble. But otherwise, second homeowner's insurance. So to quickly break down attractive nuisance, basically if something looks like something a kid should be able to play on, it kind of would fall under that category. OP responds, "Nope, it was something similar to this," and then a photo of the fountain. I also had a recording of a video that shows the front door of my house. The kid was playing on top of my fountain for 3 minutes with no sight of the adults until it toppled over. Parents were nearby, but was not paying attention to the kids. Maybe this video would help me claim that the adults should have enough time and warning to tell their kids not to climb on top of the fountain. User like you're so perfect comments. Have you had the fountain for a while, or is it new? Have the kids climbed on it before? If it's been there for a long time and they've never climbed on it before, it seems like it would be tough for the parents to prove the attractive nuisance angle. Opie responds, "The fountain has been there for a while, at least 5 years. I have secured the top piece of the fountain and the second level with Gorilla Glue to ensure that wind won't just blow it over. But never would I imagine that a kid would climb on top of it. Plus, the fountain was surrounded by rocks and flowers, and they have to walk over those things before being able to touch the fountain." Update. November 15th, 2017, 3 months later. USA, California. This is an update post to the original. So, long story short, my neighbor sued me for $10,000 in damages. I also countersued and wanted my neighbor to reimburse me for any court paperwork that I had to do, the fountain he broke, and the time I wasted. The judge concluded that I was not responsible for injuring my neighbor's kid, and that the fountain was properly secured to the best of my ability. I also showed him the video of the kid playing on top of the fountain before it fell. Judge told the parents that ultimately it was their responsibility to look after their kid, especially when the video showed over 3 minutes of the kid playing on top of the fountain before the collapse. They knew their kids were playing on the fountain, and they did not tell them to stop. Judge rewarded my request for the damages to my fountain. Now my neighbors are hating on me. Just weeks ago, my house was egged on Halloween, away from the view of the camera, and I was the only house that was egged. Very suspicious that I would be the one house that was egged and know the position of the camera unless I have shown it to them, like in court. Are there any ways to protect myself? In a situation like this, I really think the only thing OP can actually do is just get more cameras in different angles, ones that kind of like cover the entirety of the front of the house. So there are no blind spots. But to me, after their child was injured, they thought they could get a pretty easy payout and wasn't expecting the CCTV footage to exist and show their negligence on full display. Oops. This post was collected by Direct Caterpillar 77, and their tagline is, "Satan is not a pogo stick." The original OP is bullshit historian and throw RA dentist. Originally posted to r/relationship advice January 20th, 2021. My dentist asked me out, and not sure what to do. Went to the grocery store over the weekend and saw my dentist, which was a little weird, but she recognized me and came up and said hi. We had a little chat and it was nice because human contact is so non-existent nowadays. Then she said she had to go and asked for my number. I figured she needed it for dentistry reasons, if I'm being honest, but I probably should have figured it wasn't for that. Anyway, after I got home, she started texting me just with casual stuff. Eventually, we talked about how I'd never read Harry Potter or seen the movies, and she said, "We could grab some food and I'll watch them with you." Followed by, "If you want." About 5 minutes later, I haven't responded and it's been 30 minutes. If she wasn't my dentist, it would be an absolute yes. She's hot and fun to talk to. I know we share a couple of hobbies too, which is always nice. And on the other hand, I'm 90% sure they aren't supposed to ask their patients out. I always thought she was being a little flirty sometimes, but like I said, I don't think they're supposed to do that. So I never took it as flirting. So I guess what I'm asking here is, what the hell do I do? I don't want to cause problems with her career, but I also would really like to date her. A lot. Top comments. Reddit Toastbot comments, "It's easy to find another dentist, but it's hard to find a good wife." User Pantaz1 responds, "Also, it's noteworthy to mention how up close she's been with him. She already has an intimate relationship with his mouth and still had the balls to ask him out at the supermarket. Bravo, madman." 69 Sexy Sam 69 comments, "You fucking go out with her and eventually become her trophy husband. What the fuck is wrong with you? Say yes!" User Hobear responds, "I'd pretty much always follow dating advice from," let me check here, puts glasses on. Oh yeah, 69 Sexy Sam 69. ... User Choose My Fate 912 comments, "From the American Dental Association's Code of Ethics. 2.G. Personal relationships with patients. Dentists should avoid interpersonal relationships that could impair their professional judgment or risk the possibility of exploiting the confidence placed in them by a patient. She could lose her license for becoming sexually involved with an active patient. To avoid jeopardizing her license, have her write a formal letter discharging you as a patient. Then establish a dentist-patient relationship with someone else, and have her send copies of your dental records to the new dentist before going further." Batman's Big Bro 2017 comments, "OP, do this, even if it might not work out. She took a huge risk here professionally. There are a million other dentists out there." Edit, "Alright, geez, I'll say yes." Edit 2, "We're going to watch Harry Potter on Friday. Just need to decide what kind of food to order. Thank you for pushing me to say yes. I honestly probably would have turned her down." Update, January 23rd, 2021, 3 days later. I know it's a different account. Got an automod message telling me I had to make a Throw RA account, so here I am. Anyway, the update that 2 whole people asked for. We got together, had some food, and watched Harry Potter. That's about it, to be honest. In all seriousness, we hit it off pretty quickly. I kinda feel like we were already friends anyway. We usually talk a lot during appointments while she's getting all the tools ready and such, so I know a little about her already. But not being in that setting made it easier to talk to her for sure. Also confessed to a bunch of stuff, found out she's had a crush on me since my first appointment 2 years ago, and she was trying to figure out how to ask me out for a while. Also, got to hear about how she would purposely try to get a light schedule when I was coming in so she could go slower and we'd had more time to talk, which I think is the cutest thing I've ever heard. A girl actually wanted to spend more time with me. On purpose. Another thing, I thought there were 3 Harry Potter movies, not hundreds! But we got through 2 of them and have another date set up for tomorrow, so I'm not complaining. Also, I had to take all the tests, so in case you're interested, Ravenclaw, and I have a wood mouse Patronus. She seemed happy with that. Don't know why, but she's in Ravenclaw too, so I'm sure that has something to do with it. And lastly, the entire reason I made my last post. I talked to her about it, and I do need to get a new dentist, which kinda sucks, but it's understandable and worth it. Not like I'll be missing her or anything, because I can just talk to her whenever now. Unfortunately, until all the dentist swapping is dealt with, we're just friends. But we both made it clear that we want to be something more than that, when we can. This might be too much information for some of you, but if I didn't include it, someone would ask, so no. We didn't have sex, and no puns about oral were made. We were making out, and she stopped it. Said she felt uncomfortable doing anything with someone that was still a patient, so we just cuddled up and watched the movies instead, and I drove her home afterwards. Honestly, I wouldn't have had it any other way. It was probably the best first date I've ever had. Final comments. User got me wrong, gang comments. So wholesome, I love it. Also, I hope you flossed before the date. OP responds, of course, and I hit all the floss she's been giving me at appointments too, so she doesn't know I don't use it. Eternal Isolationist responds, she's your dentist. She knows. I am eternally cringing at that agonizing 30 minutes that he left her on, or perhaps even longer to post the Reddit post, because she was pretty much just like trying to just put herself out there of like, hey, we could watch them together if you want. And then 30 minutes of silence of being left on red. That had to have just been straight agony for her. Like, oh my god. Considering how unabashedly dense OP was, I wouldn't be surprised if when she asked with the Harry Potter movies, he was like, it's a weird thing to need for dentistry reasons. Then after 5 minutes, if you want, it probably finally clicked with him. Anyways, this best of was absolutely adorable, and I had to share it with you guys because it's a nice feel-good story, and it's not the usual kind of hellscapes I put you guys through, or you guys willingly put yourselves through. I don't know. Hey, welcome to the outro. Don't forget this whole thing is basically brought to you by GamerSupps. If you like caffeine, then I can't recommend GamerSupps enough. Use code Oz at checkout to support the channel. And I do actually use this product. It's replaced all other sources of caffeine for me because I feel good. It doesn't have any of that extra stuff that a pre-workout blend might have. It's with a couple of the extra things to make it so you don't crash as hard. It's good. I like it. Personally, if you really want a good flavor, try the Soda Pressing Pear or even the Dragon Fruit Punch. Those 2 are my personal favorites right now.